Good morning everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I've just pulled up outside the Wellness Boutique and I'm going to take you guys along for my appointment today. I am 36 weeks pregnant. Insane. I can't believe we're this close to the end. We're this close to meeting our baby and we still don't know the gender. It's just so exciting. I'm definitely a little bit nervous as well, but mostly just excited. Yeah, 36 weeks. In the last couple of days, I've definitely had some symptoms of early signs of labor. I don't remember experiencing any of this with Taj, so I feel like it's quite new to me. I never got Braxton Hicks with him. I don't remember losing my mucus plug. I definitely wasn't sitting on the toilet like I have been the last couple of days, and that is definitely a sign of like labor when your body's like cleaning out and getting ready. So I've had that the last couple of days. I had a lot of Braxton Hicks last night. Thought I lost a little bit of my mucus plug, but I just don't know. I don't know. And Steve's in Melbourne, so last night I was just messaging him. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I went into labor tonight, you can't even get a flight until 6:30 in the morning. So I was definitely having a little bit of a panic because I just really want him there. He obviously wants to be there and experience this together, but I'm okay. And anyways, I'm about to go in for this session now. I've been seeing Danny from the Wellness Boutique since about, I think 20 to 25 weeks. She's not just a Pilates teacher, she's also a physio that specializes in pre and postnatal, like pelvic floor issues, any pain. She does internal exams and all her Pilates sessions are like personalized to my individual pregnancy. So I just see her once a week, but today we're having a little bit of a checkup and doing some birth prep. And I get asked a lot of questions on my Instagram about all of this stuff, and I'm like, I'm not qualified, I'm still learning as I go, and I just think it's not spoken about enough. So I thought, I did a Q&A on my Instagram. So I'm going to ask her a bunch of questions because I thought it might be really informative for anyone who's pregnant or hasn't seen a physio or is thinking about seeing a physio. Maybe you've had a baby and it's really painful to have sex, or you feel like when you laugh, jump or sneeze, you wee, or you still have a lot of ab separation. I've got a lot of questions there and I thought this would be really informative. So I'm going to take you along for that. And today we also have a baseline launch, which is really exciting. So we're launching the drop 2 of the autumn collection. I'm going to put up some little clips of the items because there's only 2 jumpers, a tank and a pair of track pants. It's because it's the second half of the drop, which we haven't ever done this before, but these were delayed, so we couldn't drop it all together. But that's dropping today. So I'm going to head into this appointment. By the time you watch this, it would have been up for at least a week. So hopefully some of your sizes are left. Good morning. Vlogging. Do you like the camera? Is Danny down there? Yes. Cool. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to YouTube.
Thank you. I'm stoked to be here.
You look beautiful. This is Danny, guys.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about some birth questions. I've actually got a whole heap of questions for you that Instagram asked last night.
Great.
Alrighty, so what are we going to be going over today?
So, a couple of things. We're going to be running through the labour tens, which is really exciting. It's a form of pain management that's, you know, it's non-drug, non-pharmaceutical, so you know, a great option for pain relief, especially early on in labour. So
you're saying some girls love it, some girls hate it.
Yes, it is a very individual sort of experience. So, you know, yeah, if you can get it on earlier, so that you can really try to keep your contractions under control, that's ideal versus letting the pain get too high and then trying to use the tens to get it back under control.
Yeah, true.
It's a kind of like a tingly kind of sensation where the electrodes are placed, and yes, some people love it, some people don't. So super individual, but I think it's worth a shot.
So is the idea of it to kind of not distract from the other pain, but balance it out?
So yeah, your brain and your pain signals all come from your brain. So there's electrical signals that go up and down the spinal cord. And the goal of this is that where the electrodes go in, it's sending like low grade electrical signals in where the electrodes are placed. So I guess one of the theories is that you know, it's essentially bombarding the brain with other electrical signals to essentially take away some of that, the pain coming from your contraction. So it's, yeah, designed to, I guess, bombard to change the signals and in turn modulate or bring down your pain.
Right, and where can you get these from? Like, I'm obviously hiring one from you.
So yes, we hire them. I think you can also hire them online as well as from some hospitals. not all, but some. So it's worth asking your care providers.
I think at 32 weeks, I was like, should I get that machine? You were like, no, 36 is fine.
Yeah.
Trying to get ahead.
Yeah. Getting so prepared.
Yeah. I was saying I really struggle to pronounce this word.
Oh, yes. We're going to go through perineal massage.
That sounds lovely. A massage.
Yeah, look.
Tell me more.
Look, it's a massage for your pelvic floor. It's designed, the evidence is more strong for first-time mums, just because they haven't had a head or shoulders come through their pelvis before. But you know, I think we were discussing that, you know, that there's probably no harm in trying in doing it again this time, because you didn't do it through the first time, and it has been a little while between deliveries for you. So essentially what we're doing is we're, you know, starting to get that pelvic floor a little bit used to the sensation of that stretching, a little bit of that burning kind of sensation that you do get on crowning. And the idea of that is that we want to, I guess, familiarize yourself with that, and so that your body kind of learns to go with it instead of work against it. Because a lot of women's, I guess, reaction sometimes to pain is to clench and tense, and we kind of want to, I guess, retrain for Labor Day that ability to open, drop, relax pelvic floor even when there is some stretch and burning occurring. In first-time mums, there has been shown that you can reduce your risk by almost 10% in terms of having tearing or an episiotomy. So yeah.
Okay.
Massage.
Love that.
Yes. And then the final couple of things will be an actual internal pelvic floor check, so we can see how you're doing in terms of your pelvic floor relaxation for Labor Day, as well as what you're bearing down to sort of technique is looking like. Is it optimal? You know, do we need to tweak anything? And you know, you may not need, you might get to Labor Day and your body just naturally does everything by itself. The power of your uterus contracts beautifully, bulb comes down beautifully, pelvic floor opens beautifully. You may not need to, you know, consciously deliver the bear down maneuver. However, I think it's a great toolkit to have, because I've had so many women that have just been like, you know, they told me to push and I just didn't know what I was doing, and they just felt so disconnected and not aware of their pelvic floor. So I think if we can give you that awareness and also train it into your body a little bit before the day, so it becomes a bit more automatic.
So we're doing a little practice run on my arm. Look at my finger. It feels like, yeah, like a tapping, but obviously you can go more intense. And then you've got the booster button there.
Yes. So that increases it by 20%.
So do you want to push that?
I'll let you push. All right, we're on.
Oh.
Yeah, it'll go up by 20%. So that's going to give you a contraction there because of where it's placed.
Wow. Literally, that curls back by itself.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at my hand. I'm not doing that.
No.
That's a strange feeling, but you can see how that would help.
And because it will be placed on your back, not on your arm, it's more just to get you used to what it feels like.
It's cool for me to do this to get the feeling of it.
Yes. So that you're like, oh, okay, that's what it's going to feel like.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. I feel like I will like this. I don't know how to describe that.
Yeah, it's funny because it's completely involuntary, like because you're sending the signals, because the signals are going down through the electrodes.
Yeah,
but on your back, you're not going to get that same that same feeling.
Right, we're just going through everyone's questions, and we thought, was it ab separation?
Yes.
That's a very common one.
Yeah, ab separation has come up a few times, and I think the biggest thing to know is that, you know, during pregnancy, your abdominals have to an extent, widen to allow your baby to grow. And you have a fascia that runs down the middle, and essentially it connects those six-pack muscles that run down the front. And it's the fascia that actually widens, you're not getting splitting or tearing of the muscles, which I think is an important thing to know. And then when pregnancy occurs, obviously you're getting that stretch and that load happen through there. Once baby is out, we get that little bit of natural recoil that happens. I think one of the biggest things you can do is give it some support in those early, like 6 to 8 weeks, I think. You know, it's almost like putting your arm in a splint,
Yeah.
if you fracture a bone or something like that, it's giving you that support to try and help it heal in its most shortened position, ideally through that sort of natural phase, which is about that 6 to 8 weeks. And then from there, I think loading through those tissues is important. It does depend on how significant the abdominal separation is. If it's sort of 2 to 3 fingers, that's very, very common, very normal. And I think, get into loading that to try and, reduce any of that widening that has occurred, and creating some load down through those tissues to stimulate it to get stronger. If it's a little bit wider and a bit more lax, that's probably the point where you may want a little bit more advice from someone and have a little bit more of an individualized approach. But quite often abdominal separations can be completely functional, even if they are a little bit wider than what you were pre-baby, which is very, very common because your body has changed. But if it's more of, I guess, if it's an aesthetic concern, then trying to reduce that with exercise is great. But you then also do have the option of chatting to a surgeon, and going down that path if that's sort of what you want. But I think if you can, try conservative management first.
Yeah.
Know that abdominal separation is normal. It is not something you did wrong. You didn't do the wrong exercise. You didn't get out of bed wrong. Blah 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 blah. So it's normal. It's your collagen stretching to accommodate your baby.
Okay, cool. Prolapse.
Oh, prolapse, yes. Is it treatable without surgery? Yes, it is. It does depend on the stage of prolapse as to, I guess, what the best management strategy will be. If it's mild, stage 1 to 2, I think they go really well with conservative management, and that can be around creating support from beneath, because often we're finding pelvic floor's a bit weak postnatally. You've also had pressure come down. Some of the ligaments and fascia may be a little bit more lax. So, managing the pressure that's coming down from above, avoiding constipation, slowed gradual return to exercise, again, probably ideally under a professional if you can, and creating support from beneath. So that can be through targeted pelvic floor exercises to increase that strength and that tone again, as well as the use of a pessary. That is a medical grade silicone device which we can fit, based on what type of prolapse you have. It's a device that we can insert into the space of the vagina to essentially, it's kind of like a supportive bra, for your pelvic organs. Yeah. So if it's well fitted and the right pessary for the right type of prolapse that you have, then a lot of people do really well in terms of getting that support and allowing those tissues to, again, for some people, heal in a slightly more shortened, better, more optimal position. And especially postnatally, sometimes I've found that you'll insert a pessary postnatally, 18 months down the track you don't need it anymore because those tissues have firmed up a little bit more, and they're holding in their position a little bit better. So definitely treatable, and definitely seek out a pelvic floor physiotherapist that does pessary fittings.
And I suppose after baby, do you just recommend everyone getting an internal check? Because that's when I spoke about that on Instagram. People were like, what do you mean they checked you inside? I'm like, yes.
I mean, it's the biggest thing your pelvic floor will ever do in its life.
You can't see what's going on. You don't know.
That's the thing. Like, you might sort of be able to, feel some things. Like, you're looking out for big things. Big symptoms are leakage, pain, heaviness, dragging, bulging. If you're getting any of those, get yourself to a pelvic floor therapist.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I think, your body's done such a big thing. Why not just give it that little bit of TLC, that little bit of self-care, and go, right, I want to check this and make sure that you're rehabilitating or getting your pelvic floor back to a good level. Because if you want to have another pregnancy, I guess it's about rebuilding it back to it as close to its baseline as possible, so that when another pregnancy, another birth comes along, it's ready, it's good to go. We're not sort of just gradually over the years dropping your pelvic floor closer and closer to the level of dysfunction. Yeah,
we're just checking the internal damage, I suppose, because that can also affect pain with sex and urinating and... Definitely. So pain with sex is a really, really common complaint, especially postnatally. But no one talks about it.
No one talks about it. I do.
I did too. It took me 5 months to be able to have sex again, because internally I was just damaged.
Yes. And we also know that, you know, especially if you're breastfeeding, you've got that real big drop in estrogen that happens postnatally. That can thin the tissues of the vagina. It can make them, you know, less plump, a bit more kind of irritated and raw feeling. So when that friction of intercourse happens, that can be uncomfortable. So my biggest advice is a good quality lubricant when you are ready. And that's the other thing, is you don't have to rush back if you're not ready. You know, explore other things like outer course that don't necessarily involve penetration, you know, still building that bond with your partner, but in other ways. It doesn't have to always go down that path. I mean, when you're ready for that, a good quality lubricant. I really like a silicone lubricant. We have one here, it's called Uberlube. It's really, really great. It makes it a bit more slippery than water-based. So, you know, again, reducing that friction, which can help with that feeling of discomfort. If you've had an episiotomy or any tearing, it can sometimes be a sensitivity of the tissues where that scar tissue is. So sometimes, again, going through and doing a little bit of scar massage, making sure we're desensitizing that area, so that when something moves across it, it's not giving you pain or irritation. The last thing, probably, if you're one of those women that have quite a really big drop in that estrogen and your tissues are red, raw, irritated, you can discuss with your GP the option of topical estrogen. That can work really well for some women. Again, there's mixed evidence as to whether it impacts breastfeeding because it changes those estrogen levels, but again, it's an individual approach, which is why you want to ask your GP. Maybe that you try it, and if it impacts your breastfeeding and you're not happy with that, you can leave it. But again, it's not like an oral systemic, it's topical, so we don't get sort of as much of that. It's mostly acting at the area that it's being applied, which is vaginally, and that can really help if you're having ongoing issues with pain, and it seems like it's a hormonal issue.
Cool.
How can we help our pelvic floor so we don't pee every time we sneeze or cough? Very common complaint.
Happened to me.
Yes. But not anymore.
No.
So yeah, stress urinary incontinence is very common, especially in pregnancy and postpartum. We do know if you're leaking during pregnancy, your risk of leaking afterwards is increased. So some strategies. Firstly, there are quite a few mechanisms around how stress incontinence can occur. So seeing a physiotherapist that can assess the different reasons is probably ideal. However, let me give you some tips just in case this helps. One of the things you can do is, we know with a cough and a sneeze, it's lots of intra-abdominal pressure coming down. So if you can contract and hold your pelvic floor while the pressure comes down, that can sometimes be enough to reduce or completely get rid of the leakage.
Worked for me.
It did work out. She did complain of that, and we checked that her pelvic floor activation was correct. We got her to do it really, really strongly and hold it during the cough, during the sneeze. It's called the knack. That's definitely something to
helped
try.
me so much.
Yeah, so that's a hot little tip. Try that. Okay, so last one. What's important for C-section mamas with aftercare, and what should we look out for? Great
You're
question.
a C-section mama?
Yes, I am. So I 100%, I know this one very, very well from experience as well as professionally. So C-section mamas, probably the biggest thing is take the pain relief. You want to keep your pain under control, because the earlier you can get moving, the better your recovery will be. And when I say get moving, I mean, walking around the room in the hospital is sufficient to just get you mobilizing, get you moving. So pain relief is key. Sometimes with the pain relief, what we can find is it can make you a little bit blocked up around the bowels, a bit constipated, and you don't want to be straining, pushing on the toilet. So they generally will give you some sort of laxative stool softener. Take that. That is really, works really, really well. As well as often in the hospital, there's often stools for your feet. Hop your feet up on a stool for bowel motions. Also a really great tip post if you've had any, this is aside from C-sections, if you've had any tearing as a vaginal delivery mama, wrapping your hand in toilet paper and support your stitches while you do that first bowel motion.
Wow.
A lot of people have a lot of anxiety and apprehension around that first bowel motion post-vaginal delivery, especially if you've had any stitches. So yeah, holding that perineum and giving it that support as the bowel motion happens can really, really work. Back to C-sections. When you're moving around, just be mindful of your scar. So rolling onto your side and pushing up out of bed instead of doing like a crunch. To be fair, I couldn't do a crunch straight after giving birth, just because your abdominals don't work amazingly after being stretched for 9 months. So yeah, being mindful of how you're moving, you know, really just allowing that scar to heal in the first 6 to 12 weeks is really, really key. That's when you're going to get the best sort of healing. Looking out for any signs of redness, swelling, infection. If you're noticing anything that looks a bit amiss or things aren't healing amazingly, go back and see your birth care team and get someone to check in on that. And then scar massage down the track is another thing that I think is, you know, is valuable from a C-section mama point of view. Doing some scar massage techniques to reduce the sensitivity. Often mums can find that scar can be quite sensitive for quite a number of months. So helping to, you know, get some touch back into it, gentle touch to start with. You know, it can be as simple as just placing your hands on the scar, doing some breath work. You can then build into actually massaging across it, and then you can then build into doing things that are a little bit more, you know, I guess a bit more robust in terms of, you know, transversing across the scar to just allow that little bit of mobility between the layers to occur. So that's probably my biggest advice. And return to exercise, make it gradual. You know, you've had a significant abdominal surgery, so definitely not rushing back.
Especially into like HIIT or something.
Yeah, especially those high impact HIIT type.
That's vaginal delivery too, right?
Totally, yeah. And again, I think having your pelvic floor or your C-section or whatever it is checked, I think is always the best way. I mean, individualized care is always going to be the best if you can do it, because every woman is different, every delivery is different.
So different.
You know, so I guess we want to focus on what you need, and you know, having that individualized care I think is amazing if you can. And so yeah, gradual return to exercise, whether you're vaginal or C-section, and if it can be guided by a professional to cater to what you need, that's ideal. If you're on the Gold Coast, that's us. We are down in Burleigh. We see pregnant, postnatal, postmenopausal, Pilates, general physio, back pain, neck pain, all of the things. And we also can do Zoom and telehealth.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you do online? Because I have a lot of followers online.
Maybe, you know, doesn't have access to a women's health physio and you're getting symptoms. There is actually a lot we can do just by talking to you and being like, okay, you know, I think this is, from what you're saying, this is what I think is going on. This is what I want you to do. You know, there are ways of assessing your pelvic floor, you know, via a Zoom, where, you know, you can be using a mirror and we can be talking about what you should be seeing, what you should be feeling. So there are lots of things we can do from an online perspective as well, if you maybe are, you know, unable to access one where you live. What advice would you have for someone that's quite nervous to come? Because obviously, anyone going downstairs, it's just not a good time. Totally get that.
I think a lot of women avoid it because they're so nervous.
Yeah, totally. I think to hopefully put your mind at ease a little bit is this is something we do every single day. So it's not a new thing for us, and we try to obviously make you feel as comfortable as possible. And I want you to know that you're always in control. You're always in control of the assessment. You know, we ask for your consent multiple times through the session to make sure you're comfortable. I always explain exactly what I'm going to do and make sure that you're fully aware of what's coming, instead of, you know, kind of getting there and being like, oh, I had no idea this is what was about to happen.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, almost being a bit like anxious in the process. So the other thing is you can always cease the exam at any time. That is, you know, also totally a-okay. As I said, it's your body, and we want to make sure that you're comfortable in it. But I think it's such an important part of our bodies you know, and I think if you can have access to someone who can check this part of you, I think it's so vital, especially around this pregnancy and postpartum time of your life. As I said, it's the biggest thing your pelvic floor will ever do. I think giving it that love and that rehab and that time to heal and rehab is ideal.
And you want to feel like yourself, like you want to be able to go and exercise and have sex without pain and
exactly.
not be leaking every time you laugh or sneeze, and it does take a little bit of work.
Things, even if you hear, oh, it's just part of having a
it's just
baby.
normal.
Because I know we've all heard that before.
Yes.
Don't put up with that, and I will be the first one to say that, you know, I don't want you to put up with that.
No way.
And find healthcare practitioners that have that mind as well, who want to help you, not just put it down to, oh, you just had a baby.
There is solutions, right?
Yeah. There are options, and so many options that people don't often know about. So if you have any questions, you know, find your local pelvic floor therapist, or let us know. We can
awesome.
help.
Thank you. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that segment with my physio / Pilates teacher. She's so passionate. I love being around people that are just like living their purpose, making a difference, and educating people about a particular topic that they just are so excited about. You can just, everything she said, you can see she just like loves educating people around this particular topic, and there's just so much to learn. Like, I wish I knew all of this way back when I had Taj, but I'm just so grateful that I've got all of this knowledge and I've got her by my side, and also that she was like open to sharing with all of you. So yeah, definitely get in contact with her if you need to. Otherwise, like, find someone similar in your area if you are pregnant or planning on becoming pregnant. But yeah, I wanted to like have a chat with you guys because I briefly spoke about it on my Instagram stories and Snapchat, just about this like emotional day that I had the other day. I was sitting in the car. Actually, I met with my birth photographer and was chatting to her about a few things, and then I just started to feel really emotional, and I got in the car and it just hit me all of a sudden that in a couple of weeks time, like, I am obviously so excited to meet this baby. I'm so excited to go through birth and experience that with Steve. And I was saying in my stories too, like, I feel like I'm such a different person to who I was when I had Taj. I'm really excited to experience all of this with who I am right now and who Steve and I are as a couple and who we are as a family. So excited. But in the same breath, I'm like petrified as well. And it just all of a sudden hit me that I'll be dividing my time between a baby and Taj. And it's just been me, Steve, and Taj for the last 6.5 years. And we love our life. And I'm really scared of that like adjustment of finding our new normal. Even though logically I know it'll work out. I know your heart will expand, like my heart will expand, and my family's expanding, and it's more fun and more memories and more love. And this is what life's all about, you know, in my opinion anyways, like just love and memories and family and connection and building this life that you really enjoy. And I love our life that we have with Taj. So the thought of splitting it up, and I know so many other mums feel like this, like, how can I love another human, just like another little baby, as much as what I love Taj, as much as you love your first? And everyone says you, as soon as that baby's on your arms, like all those fears, feelings disappear. But I just had this afternoon where I was really emotional, and Steve was in Melbourne, so I called him and had a big cry to him, and when he came home we had a big cuddle, and I just needed to like get off my chest what I was feeling, and he's so supportive. But yeah, it's just starting to feel very real. So I'm 36 weeks. They say pretty much from here on out just to be ready. Our nursery, look, our nursery's done. It's nothing special because we are building a house, which is meant to be starting in like 2 or 3 weeks. We've got a final like meeting on Wednesday next week. I don't want to put a lot of effort into this one because we're moving anyway and we rent here, so I can't paint the walls or anything. But I will show you like a mini tour of what it looks like at the moment. Just keep your expectations low. It's the same with like clothes and stuff. Like, I've literally bought bare minimum. I bought so much with Taj and so much went to waste, and like, you know, grew out of it so quickly. I just want exactly what I need. So it was an emotional day the other day, but I feel heaps better today. And I was saying on my stories also, so sorry if you're hearing double up, but I feel like I talk more in depth on here. The last couple of weeks has just been a lot happening. Like, so much has happened in my personal life, my work life, a lot of changes, but all really good. I feel like energetically so much has shifted, and some things that I needed to like unplug from, or let go of, or work through, or unpack, or navigate, like however you want to put it. I feel like I've finally cleared, and I really wanted to clear quite a few things before we start this next chapter. And I don't know if it's the full moon or just something happening energetically as a collective. I just feel so much more calmer and grounded that I've worked through all of that. I can just focus on my family, and I'm so ready for that. Today is my first kind of like, well, today is the day I'm kind of finishing up work. In saying that, I will work the whole way through and afterwards, but letting go of some roles and just letting my team take over a few things, and really going to spend the next couple of weeks just like resting and nesting and spending lots of time with Steve and Taj before our dynamic does change, which is, yeah, really, really exciting. And I'm also meeting a doula this afternoon. So with Taj, I feel like the newborn phase was really, really rough. I was super overwhelmed. I'd never even changed a nappy. I didn't know what I was doing. I was so tired. Steve and I weren't really connected. We both had expectations on each other. I didn't know how to handle situations. Taj had a lip and tongue tie. He wasn't breastfeeding very well. I wasn't coping with the no sleep. I honestly just had no idea. I feel like no one can prepare you for parenthood until you're in it. And some people cope so fine. I just don't feel like I coped very well. And that's why I've put a lot more time and energy into learning so much more, and also just like reaching out for more support and help. And one thing that so many of you suggested was to hire a doula. I didn't even know this was such a thing back in the day. And my girlfriend Megan, she first suggested it to me. She was like, I really want you to look into getting a doula because they just offer so much support in that 4th trimester. And this whole pregnancy, I've done a lot of research into the 4th trimester and just how much in our society, it's not even a thing. But over in China and Japan and African cultures, the 4th trimester is all about nourishing and looking after the mum and baby through postpartum, whether it's 30 days or 40 days. And with Taj, I was just straight back into work, straight back into stress, trying to juggle it all. And I just really didn't feel like it set up a foundation for me to be able to cope with motherhood and show up and be the person that I want to be, because I was so depleted and struggling so much. So anyways, I've hired this doula. You know, whoever you hire, they're gonna do things very, very differently. But the one I've hired, you can get one that comes to your house every single day and like does your washing and cleaning and helps with the baby or whatever. I've hired one just to come to my house once a week for 6 weeks postpartum. So she comes to my house, she brings like, she makes a lot of food. So that's like one thing less I have to worry about. Teas and tonics. She does like a bone closing ceremony, postpartum massages, runs hot baths. It's just a really like solid emotional support for mums. So someone just to talk to about everything. If I have a traumatic experience in my birth, she helps to like heal that. Do meditation, she lights candles. There's lots of different rituals and things that she does, and I'm meeting her today to really find out exactly. But I'm excited to have that extra support. It'll be really, really, really cool. And I know it's not something everyone can afford to do. I feel very blessed to be in the position to be able to hire that extra help, especially because my mum's not around. My mum moved to far north Queensland. It's like a 12-hour drive about 6 months ago. And when I had Taj, she was just around the corner. We don't have family around, so I'm excited to just have a little bit more support. Plus, I've obviously got the most incredible girlfriends. I'm so, so lucky. Like, they are just so excited for this baby and to be that support. And like, they'll just randomly send me messages just being like, I can't wait to like support you through this journey. I can't wait to come and just cuddle your baby. Like, oh, I really do have such a solid support system around me. But yeah, I'm excited to have this doula. So I'm going to meet with her this afternoon and go over exactly kind of, you know, how she works and how it runs, and then that'll be really cool. But yeah, the countdown's on. I have a feeling I might go a little bit early. I don't know why. I just feel like things are starting to feel different. Like, I feel like my body's kind of prepping and getting ready. I've been manifesting 38 weeks. That's like my ideal. Because I feel like when Taj, I went to 40 and 4 and it was just too long. And I'm just so uncomfortable. You guys know I haven't been sleeping. My restless leg syndrome is out of control. And yes, I've tried everything people have suggested, literally everything. And I'm sure it helps a little bit, but yeah, it's bad. Some nights I can't even deal. So I'm really excited to not be pregnant, but in saying that, I love my belly and I love every kick and movement. It's so special, and that I will miss. But yeah, that's kind of my updates. So, and then tomorrow I've got a girlfriend's baby shower. Taj's got footy, and then next week I've like filled it with appointments. I've got a obstetrician appointment, I meet my midwife, which we've had 3 of those. You go to the hospital and meet all the midwives, and they take you for tours and just answer your questions. So I've got our last appointment for that. We're weekly with our obstetrician now. I'm guessing he'll check to see if there's any dilation each time. And got a hair appointment next week. A builder's meeting, just like getting that stuff done before I hopefully like go into labor. So yeah, I'm excited for next week, and then just a lot more downtime. Okay, before I take you guys into the nursery, like I said, lower your expectations because it's nothing special. I'm just getting so many requests to show you. It's just like bare minimum. So this is the room. There's a big ugly stain on the carpet here, so I just want to get like a white rug or something in the middle there. But over here we have a table and a rocking chair. This rocking chair is just from Baby Bunting, nothing special. It's just grey, it rocks, it's comfy. And I'm gonna get rid of this table too and find a cuter, nicer one. But on here, I'm actually gonna put one of those beauty fridges. I saw it on TikTok. I thought it was a genius idea. So you obviously plug it in, and then you can put like coconut water or a drink, a snack. If you pump at night, it saves you walking down the stairs, which I know sounds lazy. But when you're exhausted at nighttime, anything that can help. Or if you are formula feeding, you can have your pre-made formula made up and then just get a bottle warmer to plug in as well, and a little candle. And I've got these cute little affirmations about motherhood. I don't know where they're from actually. Someone gave them to me. Over here I've got one of these little caddies, which I'll keep downstairs with nappies, wipes, just everything that I need so I don't have to come upstairs if we are hanging downstairs. A little bath, a car seat for both Steve and I's car, which we were going to get put in either this weekend or next weekend. I've got to put that little rocker. That was a present from one of my girlfriends. I got a cot and a set of white drawers. Once again, nothing special, just got it from Baby Bunting. The only thing is I might want to change the mattress. This just came with it. But I don't know, I've just been doing a lot of research into mattresses and how they breathe and what's better for your baby. So I'm just looking into that at the moment. Yeah, white set of drawers, nappy bin on the side. I really haven't bought a lot, but I've got obviously lots of nappies, and then baby products, some socks and little face washes. These are the wipes I use for Taj because they literally got no ingredients except for water. Got baby powder. I do remember using this brand with Taj. Mugu I got gifted from my girlfriend. She loves them. I did use this for Taj as well. Hand sanitizer. Nat raves about this for their scalp. Just for cradle crap, is it called? Taj never got it, but I just, yeah, she raved about it, so she gifted me one of those. And then in here, this is the extent of my clothes, guys. So I actually have some Love to Dream Swaddles in the wash. I'm just washing it all. That's a little ergo pouch. So I've got maybe like 4 Love to Dream Swaddles, some little onesies and singlets, and 2 long sleeve zip ups in there. I need to get some more. And then swaddles, mattress protector, doona cover, blankets, all that kind of stuff. I saw this on TikTok also that a lot of people rave about. I think it's called a mamaroo. Yeah, so hopefully Bobby likes that. And then there's my hospital bag. So I've got snacks, nappies. I showed this on my stories. So this is gonna be my brekkie, oats, triple choc fudge, Happy Way protein powder with hemp seeds, my vegan chocolate chips that I just need to add hot water. Announcement, loads of baby clothes in there. I've got the pack from Baby Bubba Bump, which had like all the ice packs and heat packs and everything I need. My clothes, a bathroom bag, nappies, I said that, slippers, pajamas, postpartum underwear, a dressing gown. Announcement, I've got she's here and he's here in a few different colors. Hand sanitizer, a spray for my girly lady bits down there that helps to soothe it. It's got like witch hazel and stuff in it. Maternity bras, most of them are just bonds. Look, I like them, they're okay. I don't rave about them, but they're the best that I've found. And then here I've got labor bags. So when I go into labor at home, I just want to be in the zone practicing my hypno tracks that my hypnobirthing coach has given me. So I've written down a list here for things for Steve to grab last minute. And then this is my actual labor bag. So it's more snacks. I've got some candles. I've got the TENS machine. This is how, like, the instructions on how to use a TENS machine, which I should probably show Steve before we go to the hospital. More snacks, clary sage oil, a heat pack, an ice pack, lip balm, and I've got these cute little things too, which is a photo of Steve and Taj and a photo of me and Taj. So when I'm in labor, I just want to have them close by. I've also got affirmations that I printed out. They must be downstairs. I need to put in there with some blue tack that Steve will be sticking around my hospital room when I actually go into labor, so I can refer back to my affirmations. And that's kind of it. I mean, in here I do have a couple more clothes, but I think they're for when they're a bit older. But yeah, really not a lot. And then just some extra towels and stuff. My mum's convinced we're having a girl. So she got a pink bunny, because for Taj she got a blue bunny. But we will see. I thought I would show you guys some other things that I got that have been recommended to me. So this is a wipe warmer. So in winter especially, if you pull out a wipe and it's really cold, it can upset the baby. So this actually warms up your wipes. That's the brand. I just bought it online. But what a cool idea, because obviously this bub is a winter one. Nat swears by this, an electric nail care kit. So instead of like cutting their nails, you just file and trim them down, which is good because I remember cutting Taj's skin, which is not ideal. Kiara got this for me. It's just like a portable white noise, so when you go on the pram or whatever, so that's pretty handy. A thermometer. I just got this from Baby Bunting. I don't know which ones are better than the others, but that looked like it would do the trick. And this is something also that Nat recommended. I used to use one called Fess, I think, and you'd like squeeze it up there, but this one she said is so good. Now these are my affirmations. So I picked out a few of my favorites and then I asked my graphic designer to make them look really pretty. So when I go into the hospital, Steve will stick these up on the wall and I can refer back to them. Relax face, drop shoulders, breathe, let go, trust, and open up. I can do anything for 60 seconds because a contraction, or what they say in hypnobirthing is a surge, roughly goes for about 60 seconds, and I believe that I can do anything for 60 seconds, so that's just going to remind me when it does feel a lot more intense that I can get through it. My birth is easy because I am calm and relaxed. Every surge brings my baby closer to me, which is a really beautiful one. I love that one. I have control over my thoughts and I choose positive thoughts. So if I feel myself getting into that fight or flight mode, just remember that I'm in complete control and to go back to thinking positively and trusting my body. I believe in my ability to do this. This is something I've really had to work through my whole pregnancy, and I still have fears around because I felt like I just didn't believe in myself after the birth with Taj because it was just so difficult, and never too strong for me because they are me, which I think is really beautiful as well. So they are all going into my labor bag. That's all ready to go. So when Steve comes in, he'll just fold that up, zip it up, get my pillow, get this list of stuff here, which is like boombox, pillows, vlog camera, fruit, water bottle, long camera charger, that kind of stuff, and then we'll be set to go. Now, no one come at me because I know online there's a lot of mixed reviews and people saying they're not safe, but we used a dock top for Taj just for lounging around for a lot of his naps. Even at night time when he wasn't in his cot, I just felt safer him being next to me in this compared to like fully co-sleeping, and everyone's different. Like I have lots of friends that co-sleep, that don't co-sleep. I just think whatever's right for your family. So I did get another one of these because yeah, we loved it and it worked really well for our family. So yeah.